Hey guys, here is part two of three of my three-part video that I'm doing for like turkey calls. If you haven't already, watch the first step because I'm going to go ahead and say turkey calling, calling a turkey in, whether it's a gobbler or a hen. For me, I save all my tags for the spring because I love spring gobbler. It's so much fun. Now the fall, it's fun to hunt them, bust up a gang of turkeys and then call them back in. That's fun. But I just love spring gobbler because there's just something so gratifying about it when you call one in. So if you haven't seen part one video, I would recommend watching it before you watch this video because you do not have to be a great caller to call in a turkey. Like I said in part one, if you watch it, positioning and setup is one of the most important things above calling, in my opinion. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get into it. And part three is going to be like friction calls, such as your slate, your box, and some locator calls. I'm going to go over that part in section three. So if this one right now is just going to be all about mouth calls, how to mouth call. If you already know how to use a mouth call, I am going to explain what each call means. When you calc, whether you purr, whether you cut, all those different things and styles of calling in a gobbler. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you the brands that I've used in the past, and I'm going to show you the brands that I use now. And they have always delivered to me. And also the price is going to be from your lower end to a higher end. So stay tuned. We're going to get into the calls I use now and what each one means. So now that we're getting into it, calls that I have used in the past, I've used Primos. I think the very first call I ever used was Quaker Boy. Quaker Boy, it's a little stiffer call. It's good for a beginner if you're just trying to learn how to like make the sound with a mouth call. Quaker Boy is a good one. Primos, I recommend. There's a local turkey call company that is local here in Virginia. Great calls. Love their calls. It's called Warbird Turkey Calls. I'll put a description down in my description. I'll put the link on stuff that you can see, but this one is called Razor's Edge, I believe, and this one's Backyard Ridge or Backbone Razor, or it's something like that. It's a green call. These two, this one's very raspy. This one's raspy, but not as like boss hen raspy. Night and Hail, this is called the Preacher. I love this call. I've used it in the past a lot. Those are your two like lower calls, less than $10 per call. With mouth calls, I feel like the more you spend, the better quality your call is. I'm not saying these are not quality. These are great calls. I've killed turkeys with them. But what I use now and what I am not endorsed by any means, any way at all, but I really like Woodhaven. I've seen Woodhaven the past couple years really make a storm, and they've been around for a long time. Everybody knows they're good calls, but I had never tried one until just this past year, and I put one in and I was like, holy crap, this thing sounds amazing. I hadn't even broke it in or anything. So the ones that I have that I use and I'm going to use for this this season too, and you're going to see it, is this one's the Ninja Hammer. I love this one. I want to kind of get, no, not the Ninja Hammer, the Ninja Ghost. I apologize. The Ninja Hammer is another one I want to buy and try out. This one is part of the Wasp collection, whatever you want to call it. Don't make fun of my accent, but I love this one. It's a very raspy boss hen sound. It sounds amazing. So now let's get into, now that you know what I've done, these are about probably $13 to $17 per call. These Warbirds, shipping and handling is the most expensive about them. They're about $6 to $8 per call. The Night and Hail Preacher, that's about $10 a call. I've used Primos in the past. I don't really use Primos all that much because I'm not dogging them, but they're used in mass production, I feel like, and they've fallen apart a lot of times when I've been using them. And you get out in the woods, that ain't good whenever you're going and you're trying to make the call and you can't make it and you've got a turkey that's gobbling its head off not too far away. So, all right, let's get to mouth calls. Let's get to what each one means. Now, if you're wondering if I'm going to teach you how to like make the sound. This is not what that video is for. This is for people who already know how to make the call. I'm just trying to show you what each call means. So when you're out in the field, you kind of got a little bit more of an IQ on wondering, do I call this way or do I call this way? This is what this video is for, is to show you what each one means. Whenever he does this, this is the call I'd recommend. Now, I'm not showing you the way, I'm showing you just a way, but that way has worked for me a whole lot. So again, let's get to it. Okay, so I do apologize if I get ADD or anything like that. So first of all, what I'm going to go to is explaining when if it's early in the morning, you've got a gobbler that's roosted. And like I said, watch part 1 of this video. This is part 2, whenever I'm talking about roosting a bird. But say you've roosted a bird, he's gobbling, he's still up in the tree, he's roosted up. So early in the morning, he's going to be gobbling his head off, just just going off. And so when you start calling to that bird, he's gobbling his head off. He's letting them know, hey ladies, here I am. I don't have any hens. Come to me, because that's what hens do. They go to the gobbler. So this is what I'm going to do. When I start off calling, like I said in video 1, when I call, I'm committed. He knows where I'm at. He knows exactly where I am. I'm not going to sound excited, because if I sound excited, then he's going to be like, oh, well, she's coming to me. And he's going to stay in that tree longer as the morning goes on. He's not going to fly down immediately at first light whenever he sees everything safe. So he makes the gobble. I'm going to call really low. That's just a locator call. Whenever I do that, you don't have to call 10 times or count 10 times, just 3 to 5. Don't call more than 3 to 5 if you're calking. That's called a calc, what I just did. So, and the reason I cover my mouth is because I want it to seem a little muffled. I don't want him to hear me real clear. I want him to think I'm a little ways off, but I'm not excited over him. And he's going to start gobbling his butt off. As soon as he gobbles his butt off, maybe once more, just go. And don't cut that. When you heard me count, that's kind of a cut, but just something like that, just to let him know, hey, I'm interested, but I'm not really excited about your gobble. And shut up. Don't say anything else. Whenever it starts getting a little bit more light, and he starts just going, then what I would recommend, whenever you're calling, normally a hen, when she flies off the roost, she'll cut. And she'll cut like 4 or 5 real hard cuts and excited as she flies. A lot of people use a wing to an actual turkey that they've killed. Me, that's just more I got to carry, so I don't use a wing. I literally will take off my hat and I'll go. And whenever I do that, it sounds like a turkey's wings that are flying, and it's coming out of the tree, and she's coming off the roost and she's hitting the ground. So after you hit your hat on your chest, that's all you got to do. Just hit that hat on your chest. And she's flying down. Take some leaves, hit those leaves, and do it for about 5 or 6 seconds. Because when you hit those leaves, it sounds like she's landing. She's hit the ground. She's kind of doing that. But it mimics also when a turkey scratches and they're looking for food. When you do that, you're telling that gobbler, hey, she's flown down. She's on the ground. I got to go to her. She's ready. But she didn't sound like she was interested in me. So that's where I'm going with this next step. Once you've done that, you just shut up. Don't say anything else. You wait for him to gobble and you listen. That is a big part of turkey hunting, of course, but listening. You can tell the difference from when a gobbler is on the roost and he's up in a tree to when a gobbler is on the ground, because it's going to sound like he's more in a barrel. He's going to make more of an echo and not as clear as if he is up high, because he's projecting almost straight at you, as where if he's calling down on the ground, it's going to be bouncing off ridges or bouncing off trees or whatever. So shuffling leaves, I've killed a lot of turkeys just shuffling leaves, calling them in that way. So there's that. So now he's made that gobble. Now I'm going to go over what each call means. There is what's called the calc, just a calc. That's a locator call. That's the hen saying, this is where I am. Here I am. Where are you? That's all you got to do. That's a locator. You're just trying to find him. And say he answers back. I mean, he answers right back to you. Maybe again. You're saying, hey, I'm right here. Where were you at again? He's going to give it to you again. And listen to his positioning. He can hear you. He knows where you're at. You need to do the same. You're human. You're top of the food chain. Use that old thinker. If he sounds like he's closer or left or right or in front of you, wherever he is, if it sounds like he's moving, then he's interested. He's committing to you probably. So what I would encourage next is the cut. A cut with a mouth call is you're cutting with a mouth call. You're going where a calc is a when you got your tongue on the roof of your mouth. That shows an excited hen. Now, a cut can mean a lot of different things. A cut can mean that two hens are going at it, they're fighting. But if he don't hear two hens, he just hears one and hears you, that just means, hey, I'm interested in you. Come on over here. That's what you're trying to tell him by that call. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll throw out those two locator calls or that one locator call. You don't need a lot of locator calls. You don't want to overcall, and I'm going to get to that. But if you do that, normally most of the time, you're going to get that gobbler really fired up because he's going to go, oh boy, she's interested. She wants me. She likes my voice. She likes how I sound. Like when she thinks I rattle the ground when I'm coming, baby. Like that's what she's going to say. And you're laughing right now when I'm saying all this, but I'm trying to put it in the easiest perspective or for the easiest perspective for a redneck or anybody. So the next one is you've got him coming. So he comes and you can hear him just, I mean, he's getting louder and louder as he's coming. He's using his gobble to locate you. And the best thing you can do is play hard to get. Do not overcall, as I say. Overcalling is when he gobbles, you call. He gobbles, you call. When he gobbles, make him gobble one or two more times before you call again. If you do that, a lot of times I said in part one, your positioning was everything and he's going to stick up on you a lot of times and just start strutting. If you're calling, that shows that you're eager and you're going to go to him because that's what turkeys do. The hen goes to the gobbler. So that's where like not over calling, as I say, comes in. And a lot of people, I know a lot of people, you hear that gobble and there's nothing more than you want to do than to call again and get him to gobble. You want to hear that gobble again to know, hey, I'm doing something right here. Don't do that. Fight that so hard. Fight that urge. Do not do that because there's a good chance that that gobbler's going to hang up and he's not going to come to you. So when you shut up, let him keep gobbling. Let him keep gobbling. So what I'm going to get to next is if he's coming, but he's not within sight yet, there's called the purr. That usually means that like a turkey is real calm. There's a lot of different types of purrs. So the way I purr, there's two different ways to purr. You can purr by making like the sound. Just that sound. I act like I'm gargling my mouthwash or like salt water or whatever in the back of my throat. Some people go with their lips. So the way I purr is like this. And the reason I purr and then I send out like 1 or 2 or 3 calcs is because if a hen purrs and then she goes, a lot of times that also means that hen's agitated, that she sees something she doesn't like or she's mad. So a lot of times it sends that gobbler on edge and he goes, oh, there's danger over there. I'm not going to go over there. That's why if I purr, I always let out like a couple calcs. So there's that way that I do, and that's a purr. That just means that if you do that purr, it just means you're comfortable, that you're just walking around, you're just real comfortable, and that eases him too whenever you do that. He's not thinking, oh, she's in danger, I'm in danger, I'm out, see you, bye. Because like I said in part 1, there's many other predators, not just you, that's trying to kill this turkey. There's coyotes, there's other stuff out there that wants this turkey dead for a meal of its own. So I've already went over again on overcalling. Shuffling leaves. So you got your gobbler coming in. Now I've went over, like, I've got a list here that I'm trying to make sure I hit everything. But like when you're shuffling leaves and you've got that gobbler coming in, that purr, when you get that gobbler close enough and he can hear it, but he can't see you yet and you can't see him, that's going to help a little bit, but also lower your purr down. Or not your purr, your calc down. That way he's not like, he's thinking maybe, oh, she's going away from me, I better go to her. So when you do that, it cuts your distance down. He knows where you are, but whenever you go from to he thinks, oh, she's moving away from me, there's another gobbler that she's interested in, or she's with another gobbler, I'm gonna go whoop his tail and take her from him. When you do that, it's gonna make him come in towards you quicker. And also another thing is something else that'll help you. If he sticks up, there's a way to, I've used this, I've killed a lot of gobblers using it. My friends laugh at me whenever I do it, but if you can just like let your mouth just like whenever you go like that, but use your call in your mouth and it goes like this, and you're gonna laugh. Those of you who know me, I know you're gonna laugh because you're gonna be like, look at that moron, but it works. I promise it works. It worked for me several times. But gobbling, it sounds like a young Jake gobbler, and a big gobbler, or as a lot of people call them toms, I call them gobblers, but something they hate more than anything is a Jake, because they're like, who's that young little guy trying to show me up? I'm going to go over there and whoop him. And they'll come in. Also, another thing, say he's gobbling his head off. You've called to him. He's answering your calls. Answering. Boom, 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 boom. And then he shuts up. The best thing you can do if he sounds like he's coming in is you shut up. Don't call anymore, because if he shuts up, that means he's committed. He's coming. He's looking for you. That's when you really got to start using your ears, start listening, really keep your eyes open, because he's more than likely, he is committing and he's coming to you. If you haven't heard him for 1 minute to 3 minutes, don't say anything. You're going to want to call so bad because you're like, oh man, I think he's leaving. No, he's not leaving. He's either strutting or he's coming, and he's committed coming to you. So that is a big one, because whenever more than likely, most that I have always seen, right whenever they get to you and you're wondering, I wonder where he's at. I think he's committed. I wonder where he's at. They're going to let out that, I mean, and you're going to be sitting there with your gun up and you're waiting for him to come, and you're going, oh crap, oh crap, he's right on top of me. He is right on top of me. A lot of times that will happen. Also, keep your peripheral vision open, always looking around you, because like I said in part 1, if you have not seen it, watch it. Gobblers like to try to circle you, as I said. Really keep your head, not, I wouldn't say on a swivel, but keep your eyes on a swivel. You're constantly looking the best that you can around you, because he could have been right here, but he shut up for 3 minutes and they will cover some ground. He could be right over here and you didn't even know it and he's coming in, or he could be right here at you. And the best thing, I mean, then it's just one of those things. It's a waiting game. If you can see him, wait for his head to go behind a tree before you like swing back on him or anything. But shuffling leaves, that purr and shuffling leaves is a good way to call to a turkey to let him know, hey, she's right over there. I hear her. She's scratching at leaves. So I hope this video can help you out on knowing like how to call to birds. I'm trying not to make it too long because I know what it's like to see like a 30-minute tutorial. You don't want to see a 30-minute tutorial. You want to see a 7-minute tutorial. And there's so much to know about calling. But the biggest thing I will say is when you're calling, I hope you can use these calls to your advantage. But turkey hunting's one of those things, when you first get into it, your success rate is probably not going to be real high. The best thing I would advise is going with people or going with someone who knows what they're doing. Have them teach you, have them show you. Don't just listen to them call and that. Listen to what kind of call they propose to that gobbler. Listen to the more detailed. Don't just go, oh man, he's gobbling. Yeah, you can make a turkey gobble. A hoot owl can make a turkey gobble. A crow can make them. A peacock. I've had donkeys make a freaking turkey gobble, and I killed that turkey, actually. But, yeah, like, when you first start out, don't get irritated. It takes a year or two before you really get the hang of this, before you really start feeling really confident in yourself about your call. So, if your first year or two that you're not having much luck, don't quit. Just keep hunting and get out there, as I say. Just keep getting out there, keep trying at it. But I hope this helps you. And like I said, I'm going to go over one more time. Calc. And I use my mouth to project it. I'll close this side of my mouth and I'll call. I'll close this side and call. It projects it, makes the gobbler think she's calling like this. She's not just going pointing this way and calling. That's your locator call. Calc, a cut. More excited hen. Could mean she's fighting another hen, which it'll bring a gobbler in because he's like, oh, there's more than one there. They want me. Or it says, hey, I'm here. I'm ready to breed. Come breed me. Is what that says to that gobbler. The next one, there's two different ways to purr. That is like they're comfortable. You hear that high pitch on the end, or that means that she's comfortable. She's just calling, letting everybody know that she's comfortable as well. Now, if you hear this call or this sound, you got about 2 seconds to shoot because you just got busted. That is the nightmare sound for every turkey hunter because you have just been busted and they are getting ready to run from you. So, like I said again, don't overcall, and you're going to understand whenever it happens to you, it will happen to you. Resist that urge of calling every time he gobbles. Call every other time or every third time he gobbles. That helps you tremendously. You want him to overcall to you, and that's what's going to bring him in. So stay tuned. Part 3 is coming up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comment, like this video if it helps you out a little bit, if you've learned something from it. I'm just a basic guy. I'm just trying to help y'all out because that's what I enjoy doing. I enjoy filming stuff, but I also enjoy taking people or helping people who don't know quite as much or into it as much as I am. So stay tuned tomorrow. I'm going to have another video out for you. It's going to be part 3. Hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, like, subscribe if you haven't already, if this video helps anyway. But y'all stay tuned and get out there.